For Marjorie Taylor Greene's old congressional seat, Chief Washington analyst Robert Costa.
The Democrats did better than the Trump-endorsed Republican Clay Fuller, and it's a sign that Democrats have a bit of optimism about Georgia in a midterm election.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Mason City's local news, weather, farm, and sports station is also your connection with the top news stories from around the world. To stay informed, lock your radio dial on AM 1300 KGLO.
7:32 here at KGLO, and we welcome back to our airwaves. It's been a little bit since you've been on here on the morning program here on KGLO. Pete Hjelmstad with the Iowa Department of Transportation. Pete, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thank you, Bob, and welcome back to you as well.
You bet. And, well, it's March, so I guess we have to start road construction season, don't we?
I guess. It seems like a few years ago it didn't start till early April, but things are kicking into gear now a little bit early, and that's going to be the case starting next week.
Well, State Highway 122 between right around the Mercy area between Monroe and Pierce Avenues. Of course, that was worked on last year, and phase 2 or year 2 of that project is going to start next week.
That is correct. They were actually hoping to start on Monday, but the contractor saw the forecast on Sunday and saw the possible snow, so they have pushed it back a day. And so their goal now is to start on the 17th. This year's project will involve reconstructing the eastbound lanes. Last year we did the westbound lanes. So for the majority of the project, traffic will be head-to-head in the westbound lanes. But to start it out this year, all the work's going to be focused on the Monroe intersection. So what you can expect on the 17th is, first of all, traffic will not be able to cross 122 using Monroe. And for about the first 3 weeks, the only movements you'll be able to make is eastbound traffic will be able to make a right on Monroe, and westbound traffic will be able to make a right northbound on Monroe. Otherwise, it's just going to be more or less a shoot through there, 122 traffic going straight across. Now, after they finish the first phase of that intersection, which, like I said, should take about 3 weeks, there will be no access to Monroe from 122 and no access to 122 from Monroe. It'll just be east and west traffic moving straight through the intersection, and that should take about 5 weeks. Then that intersection will open up and they will continue doing the rest of the project.
Yeah, the big thing I know last year was doing a lot of the utility work in that area as well, which a lot of people didn't understand. Why is it taking so long? Well,
right.
If you've got the road torn up, you might as well take care of all the stuff that's underneath it, right?
One of the worst things that we see, and it happens, and it's just the way it goes, is you put down a new highway and water mains or something aren't replaced, and 3 weeks later a water main breaks and they have to cut open the new highway. And it does happen. So yes, that is exactly right. And a lot of that utility work was done last year. A big part of that project last year was on the north side of the road. There were so many different, and we're not just talking the water and sewer and sanitary sewer and storm sewer, but there was telecommunications, power, all kinds of different companies had electronic utilities running through there. So what we did, this is only about the second or third time it's ever been done in the state, is we built what is called a joint utility trench. So not going into the specifics, but utilities can locate in our right-of-way for free of charge. They just have to let us know where they are. And then if we have a project coming up that they're in the way of, they have to move at their expense. Well, since that's such a tight area through there, we decided to provide a trench for all the utilities to go into. There was several different conduits in there, ductworks for different utilities. So that took a lot of the time last year. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this project's going to be done 2 months earlier, because there's still other things underneath the highway that need to be taken care of. But that was good to get that part taken care of last year.
That was going to be my next question. What's the expected finish date for this phase of the project?
It will still be the full construction season, so it will go into mid to late November.
Well, hopefully we get decent weather and things will move along quickly, but It's always a crapshoot, isn't it?
Yeah, you never know. You never know with the weather. You can get a stretch where it's great working conditions, and all of a sudden you get rain, and it lasts on and off. And so much of it too depends on what's going on, what type of or what part of the project you're doing. When you're working on the dirt work, rain will affect you a lot more than if you're doing more of if you're tearing out concrete or something like that. You can even do that in the rain, but it really depends on the type of work, when the rain comes, and how big of an effect it'll have on the project.
Well, what else are we going to expect this construction season or here in the near future with things around North Central Iowa?
Sure. One of the ones that we've been getting questions about, because you're starting to see equipment show up on Highway 65 south of Rockwell, the bridge over the West Fork of the Cedar River there. Work should be starting there, weather permitting, again, any day. But the good news is the work initially is going to be done under the bridge. The contractor is going to be installing a lot of the foundation under the bridge before they tear out the bridge to put the new bridge in. So at the very, very earliest, that bridge will close in mid-April. Again, that is the very earliest. I won't say it won't happen, but I'd be surprised if it does. But anyway, just to be ready for that. And when it is closed, traffic will be detoured using B43 to the east, S56 to the south, and then C13 back to the west to Highway 65. And that should hopefully wrap up by the end of August with that project. Also in Mason City, we are entering the final year of the Highway 65 reconstruction project. And that is from approximately 20th Street to approximately 28th Street. And they are planning on getting that one going on the 23rd of March. So that will also be closed to through traffic, and traffic will be detoured using 19th Street down to Kentucky and then back to 65 on B35 or 245th Street. So it's a detour that was in place 2 years ago when we did the 19th Street intersection.
Well, coordinating, I'm sure, with county engineers and city departments, that's one of those things behind the scenes that probably people aren't given enough credit for in these projects, I'm guessing.
That's a great point, Bob. There's so much, especially like these city projects in Mason City. Mason City is a very, very active partner with us in these projects because it's joint jurisdiction. And yeah, we work with the city on these. We were talking about the detour for Highway 65. We work with the county engineers to make sure they don't have major projects on those roads that we're detouring on, that those roads can handle, state traffic. And the other thing too that I don't think people realize is once that detour goes into place, those county roads become state highways. So if they end up closing that bridge in or south of Rockwell, mid-April, and we get a weird April snow, which we've been known to do, it's our job to plow those roads. And it's our job to maintain those roads during the project. So you're right. The coordination between counties and cities and the state are very, very, very important when these projects get going and to keep them successful.
Any other projects to talk about, or?
We will be back in Garner. We don't have a start date yet. We're waiting to hear from the contractor. We've got the majority of that project done, but there's still work to do. We've got to do another lift of asphalt, and then we'll be turning that into a 3-lane through Garner, which I think is really, really going to be nice for that area. We did the southbound lanes of interstate down in the Thornton down to approximately Latimer area last year. We will be doing the northbound lanes this year. That is set to start on April 6th. And one thing to keep in mind when that project does start, the on and off ramps for northbound traffic at the Sheffield exit will be closed. So you'll have to use either the exit to the north or to the south, and then take 65 if you want to get into the Sheffield area. What else in this area? We're going to be doing a resurfacing project on Highway 9 from Riceville over to Highway 63, the east side of Riceville to Highway 63, I believe are the parameters of that one. I'm sorry. No, we did that one a few years ago, 218 to Riceville. the other side of the rice field. I'm going off the top of my head, Bob. I shouldn't do
That's fine.
that.
You're good. You're good.
um, Other than that, I think those are the major ones in the Mason City area. We've got some work to do back by Sexton. We did that resurfacing project last year, and we got some turn lanes and things we're going to be finishing up in the Sexton area. So that'll be a good one to get done. But other than that, I think those are the main ones that we have scheduled right now for this area. We're going to be doing some paved shoulders on the Avenue of the Saints and the Rudd area.
The one final question before I let you go. I know you talked about, the 3-lane highways, and you're turning 4-lane highways into 3-lane highways. And, we've seen that be a trend here the last few years. And I know the 19th Street Southwest project isn't a DOT project, but that sounds like that's going to be converted from 4 lanes to 3 lanes. Is that proven to be a safer or better controlled traffic, a safer situation with converting those 4-lane highways with 2 lanes going each way into the 3 lanes with a middle turning lane?
Yeah, it really has. That's a great question. We've done this so many places throughout the state. We've done it on North 65 in Mason City, and we did it in Clear Lake many years ago on the west end. And actually, that one on Clear Lake is one of the most successful ones in the state. It cut crashes down. It was like 50-60%. It was just crazy right away how much it cut crashes down. And the reason it works so well is a couple of reasons. When you have a 4-lane road, and if you're coming off a side road and you want to make a turn or cross traffic, you can see a car on the outside lane, but there may be a car on the inside lane that car is completely, we call it completely shadowing, and you can't see that car because of the angle you're looking. And unfortunately, people will see the car on the outside lane go by, not look again, and pull out and get hit by the car that's in the inside lane. The other thing that it really helps on with a 4-lane road, if you're going to make a left turn, you come to an intersection and you sit on that inside lane waiting for traffic to clear. And that results in a lot of rear end crashes. And one of the things that people worry about is, can a 3-lane move traffic through the area as well as a 4-lane? And that scenario I just talked about, if you've got a car sitting there waiting to turn, it's only 1 lane through there. You're already dealing with that. So yeah, they are very, very effective. They do cut crashes. And again, if you see a 4-lane turn to a 3-lane, there was more than likely a crash history there, or the traffic volumes, we'll go back to Garner, and the turning traffic movements are such that they require a 3-lane. So they have been very, very effective, and it's a good tool to have.
Pete, we appreciate you joining us here this morning, and hopefully it sounds like we'll be able to talk to you most Wednesday mornings when your schedule permits, and we appreciate you stopping in today as well as here in the future. So thanks again for joining us.
All right. I appreciate the opportunity, and it's good to have you back.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Pete Hjelmstad with the Iowa Department of Transportation here on your hometown news station, AM 1300 KGL.